Hi everyone, I'm XY preschool teacher, and for today I'm going to share with you two Singapore stories. So I used to be a preschool teacher, and right now I'm in a special needs school. So for today I'm going to talk about how Singapore wants to have childcare at night, and also how Singapore wants to have free childcare. So stick around. Okay, just a disclaimer, none of these news are confirmed, but they are just talks in Parliament. So I saw a TikTok by Asia One, and they said that they want to have flexible work arrangements for parents, and to do so they want to have childcare hours to extend beyond 7. So if you know, childcare, they start at 7 and end at 7 p.m. And the reason behind it is so that because parents have work commitments, so they want to have longer hours to cater for the needs of parents. So why don't just have 24 hours childcare, like run the childcare throughout the middle of the night? But obviously that's not going to happen, but who knows, in the future it might happen. I do feel that it's very easy for people to say that we want to have longer childcare hours when you are the one who you don't work on the ground, you don't understand how the teachers feel, and you're just thinking of policies that seem to be convenient for parents, but ultimately it's just very inconvenient towards teachers and childcare centers. So I've worked in a childcare before, and I also work in the 7 p.m. shift, and technically I can go home at 7 p.m, but of course I have to wait for the last parent to pick up the child, and sometimes the parent will come late at 7:30 or 8 p.m, and when that happens, we still have to stay with the child, with the parent, until the parent comes. And usually childcare centers will give a fine for the parents, and they're charged according to the 15 minutes or 10 minutes late that they are. But most of the time this money goes to the childcare center and not to the teachers. I'm not saying that childcare teachers should be paid for the extra hours, but I'm just saying that ultimately the teachers are the ones who have to put in the effort and the commitment to stay with the children. So if you want to have something like allowing the childcare centers to operate after 7 p.m, teachers are the ones who have to commit the extra hours, and I know some of them are actually parents, they have their own families to take care of, so it's not really fair for them that you expect these parents and you expect these preschool teachers to keep working just because you want to make the lives of other parents better. Okay, on a more positive side, they didn't put this as a policy in government yet, but they kept it optional for childcare businesses. So if they want to have longer operating hours, they can do so. But thinking about the perspective of the child, I know that there are children who are scared when they are alone. They are more positive and bubbly, but when they realize that they are the last few to go home, they will feel scared. And imagine you close the school at 10 p.m, and the parent will come at 10 p.m. No amount of toys or songs will make the child feel happy, other than the presence of the parents. And not to mention that in preschools there's a high turnover rate. So I do believe that government agencies like ECDA, they care more about parents than teachers. Of course, I'm not saying that they don't care about teachers, but on a hierarchy scale, parents are still more important than teachers, because they are the ones paying the money while teachers are the ones receiving the salary. So of course, you're going to care for the people who pay you more than the people you are paying for. So talking about the role of the parent versus the teacher, in this manner, the parent is higher than the teacher, but this role can switch easily. For example, if the parent has a business and the teacher wants to buy a product from the business, so then the teacher suddenly becomes a higher power, because the teacher is now the client and the parent is now the business owner. So, but at the end of the day, we are still humans. Why should we care about, I'm giving you the money so I have more power than you? Aren't we all humans in the end of the day? Parents have the right to complain to ECDA, to the school, about what the teacher is doing, or even small things like there's a scratch on the child, and then ECDA and the school will immediately pursue the matter, whether it is something big or something small. At the end of the day, they want to make sure that they appease the parents and make sure that parents are happy with the school. Okay, the second thing I want to talk about is about free childcare, which I think is better news than the first. So the reason behind it is that I think Singapore has a bit of surplus, so they are thinking of channeling the money into free education, like student care, childcare, and infant care. This is also to help offset the rising costs, and which led to a low birth rate in Singapore. But I'm just not sure whether this is a feasible model, because I know there are childcare, the community childcares at PCF, they charge only a few hundreds. There are schools like Eton House who charge upwards of $1,000 to $2,000, so I'm not sure whether that can work. And plus, there are already subsidies in place for parents or families with financial difficulties, so I'm not really sure that this is an urgent need to have to provide free childcare. Because if you're a parent, you plan to have a kid, you plan to have school, so you should have already thought about everything else, and finances will be well planned out by you. But of course, if you have financial difficulties, you can always pursue subsidies. And moreover, preschool in Singapore is optional, but not primary school. So this is my first time doing such a video, so drop a comment below and let me know what you think about the two news that Singapore has. Bye!